Hello, everyone. I wanted to start with this story about alleged use of an intercontinental ballistic missile by Russia against Ukraine's city of Dnipro, even though this is still a developing story, because of the response to President Biden's permission for Ukraine to not only strike targets in Russia using ATACMS, but also use the landmines. Why am I bringing this up first? Well, because some of the responses to the long-range weapons and landmines were very negative, saying it's irresponsible. And it's true. Landmines are extremely controversial. There are multiple large-scale initiatives all around the world revisiting places of past conflicts to locate, disarm, and extract old landmines. I agree. They're very controversial, very dangerous. However, let's not forget that Ukraine has not been using them through the course of this war until now. Let's also not forget the vast minefields Russia left behind in the areas they formerly occupied and then were kicked out of. And then there is this. So, there is at this time no conclusive evidence from Ukrainian military that this was indeed an intercontinental ballistic missile. What they're saying is that the speed, the flight pattern, the sound it made, etc., matched what they would expect. And I wouldn't be surprised if that were true. Also, there was a bit of a slip up during a press conference in Kremlin, given by one of Kremlin's press agents, Maria Zakharova, where some information accidentally got leaked about this very thing. So it's very possible that this actually happened. So, given all that, are you seriously going to sit and tell me, no, this is a bad idea, giving Ukraine the right to use long-range weapons and landmines? I mentioned this before the U.S. election, that regardless of the outcome, President Biden was going to use his last couple of months in the office to get everything possible done for Ukraine, to avoid delays, because he still had that chance. He was still in power. And so, from the Ukrainian standpoint, these developments are positive. Some of the long-range weapons have already been used. I shared with you a map showing how much we're talking about, how much distance we can cover. And if you paid attention, and there are multiple maps for this now, you can see that it's not that far. The area that can be covered by those long-range missiles doesn't even reach Moscow, because a lot of Russian pundits were screaming, oh my God, we're going to have missiles falling on top of the Kremlin. No. They're long range, they're not that long range. And then there is this, and this is another thing we have discussed in the past. Why is everybody so surprised when Ukraine makes a crucial military move of some sort, and Russia replies in a horrible and disproportionate way? It wouldn't surprise me at all, and it shouldn't surprise anyone at all at this point in the war, after over 1,000 days at war, that Ukraine goes and hits an ammo storage in Russia, a valid military target, and Russia responds with an intercontinental ballistic missile against the city. it wouldn't surprise anyone if Ukraine hits another oil depot or refinery or whatever, and Russia sends back a massive number of projectiles, missiles, gliding bombs, and drones. Why does this continue to be such a shock to everybody else? They have been doing this, they have been using this cycle for months and months and months. There is sometimes quiet period during which they're accumulating resources, and then they unleash. And in this particular case, they wanted to unleash following the US election to send a message. It doesn't matter who won. That's what they wanted to do, because that propagates their purpose. They keep threatening, that this is going to be World War III. They keep threatening, this is escalation. We're going to have to keep adjusting our nuclear protocol, blah, blah, blah. This is just their standard operating procedure. So I don't understand why so many analysts are acting surprised when the same thing happens over and over again. And we talked about this as well. Remember, up until now, until Ukraine had permission to use long-range missiles, and not knowing whether they were going to get permission to use those, they were using drones. So there's a good piece you can read or listen to on the NPR side talking about Ukraine's domestic drone production. As we mentioned before, there are multiple groups of drones. There's different sizes, obviously, and there's drones that perform different functions. There are reconnaissance drones that are designed to go quite some distance with the longer battery life, that carry a camera with them. There are kamikaze drones whose sole purpose is to get to their target and drop on top of it and blow up. And there are high precision, smaller drones. There's footage now all over YouTube showing a Ukrainian drone operator flying a drone inside the hatch of a Russian tank. So that level of precision. So to those critics who are saying, well, why was Ukraine just sitting on its ass doing nothing? It wasn't doing nothing. This is what it's been doing. It's been manufacturing drones. It developed its own testing protocols and testing facilities for the drones. It did the classification and created specific tests for specific functions. So no, they have not just been sitting on their ass. And don't forget, these people are getting bombed daily. And they still manage to hold off Russian assaults and create new weapons and appropriate procedures for them. And then there's this also, in response to those who are saying, well, was it a good idea? North Korea doesn't have any problem sending howitzers to Russia in addition to the missiles that it's already been sending. So why should Ukraine's allies have any qualms about beefing up what they're sending to Ukraine? When it comes to dealing with Russia and its allies, we said this a million times, Iran, North Korea, China have no problem. They don't sit on their butt for 6 months discussing, is it strictly moral? Could it be an escalation? Would it be a mistake when it comes to sending stuff to Russia? Putin calls them up, says, I need this, this, and this, and they send it. So why shouldn't it be the same on the other side? This war needs to end. I don't think we can end it before the Trump presidency begins, but I am hoping people are taking notes. The other side is not going to play nice. So why should Ukraine and its allies?